Hi you guys. This is the second time I'm doing this video because I left out some stuff, and this is why I need like an editing software, because I can't edit on my Chromebook. And the video that I recently just upload, well, I didn't upload it, but I have it. It was like 26 minutes, and I'm like, and then when I got done with it, I was like, oh, I forgot to mention this and this and this. But I wrote it down because I don't want to forget it. So I'm hot, so forgive this. I mean, look at my face. It's all nasty and greasy. I just came back from running errands, and it's like 1,000,000,000 degrees here in Texas, and my car does not have air conditioning, so I'm cooling down. But, ouch, my eye. I was going back and forth about making a video of my testimony and the various churches that I've been in since I've gotten saved and stuff like that. But that video would probably be like 45 minutes to an hour long. I don't want y'all to sit through that. I truly don't. So, but I thought about this. This video came to my mind as I was actually doing some praise and worship in my living room, and it just hit me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make this video about my experience in a cultish type church. I will not name the organization because there are still some fantastic people in that church, and there are many who are gone now. And I do respect the church for the fact that I did give my life to Christ there. I learned the basics of becoming a Christian. I got baptized with the Spirit of the Holy Ghost. Yes, I actually do speak in tongues. That's, some Christians don't believe in that. Whatever. It happened to me. For me, it's real. So, but, let's see. Where should I begin? I don't even know. Oh boy. Where should I begin? I guess I can begin shortly after I got saved, which would have been the summer of 2001. And sorry, I'm just looking at my neighbor's cat in my backyard. Okay, I get easily distracted. But so I remember let's see. I remember it was Saturday. It was a Saturday because we had prayer meeting, and then there was soul winning, which I'll get into all that. And I remember the pastor taking me aside, and let's call her Sister Jennifer. Let's call this Sister Jennifer. And he pulled her aside, and he was like, "Hey, Sister Jennifer, maybe you could take Dawn to like the thrift store or Walmart or Cato or whatever store was there at the time in Kansas, and maybe help her find some like skirts and dresses." And she's like, "Oh, sure," and I was just like, "Cool," and because the only thing I had was like jeans and sweatpants. That's all I wore, and that was my thing, and I didn't think too much of it. I was like, "Sure," Whew. Well, before I go on, this church has Pentecostal type leanings to it. They would never claim they're Pentecostal though. They would claim that they were a Bible believing church. Many churches claim that. So, but so as the weeks went on, and I started learning more and more about God and His Word, and I was on fire for God. I was just like sold out 100%. If the pastor told me to jump off the roof, I'd do it. He'd be like, "Jump off the roof for God." I'd be like, "Okay, let's do it." So, oh boy. But some of the things that, I didn't care for it right off the bat because I was like, "Oh, I'm doing this for God." Oh, let me write this down. Where's a pen? There's something else I gotta write down. See how this stuff just comes to my mind? So, okay. All right. So, within this organization, once you as a man or you as a woman became a believer, like after a couple weeks, you were pretty much, for the women, let's go. For the men, you pretty much had to wear pants all the time. No shorts, no tank tops, no, shirts with like basic like concert t-shirt type stuff. You weren't allowed to wear that as a guy. You had to be pretty much clean shaven. For the women, oh jeez. Gosh. For the women, we had to wear skirts and dresses all the time, which that's fine. It's okay to be modest. No jewelry, except they allowed a wedding band, which I thought that was weird because I was like, so you just tell us not to wear jewelry. And I think it's 1 Timothy. It talks about not going around with like gold and pearls and costly array. Oh yeah, I think it's 1 Timothy 2:9, I think. But no jewelry except the wedding band. We were not allowed to wear makeup. And we were not allowed, we had to grow our hair long. We weren't even allowed to trim our ends of our hair. So there were a lot of us sisters walking around with nasty looking hair. Oh my gosh. And they really emphasized Deuteronomy 22:5, which says that a man should not wear that which pertaineth to a woman, and a woman should not wear that which pertaineth to a man. Hence the reason, like, we women were always in skirts and dresses, and the men were always in pants. We could debate that. I'm not debating that verse right now because that's, no. So, and also in the book of Timothy, I believe it is 1 Timothy, it talks about a woman wearing modest apparel. Okay, well, but, and so I was just, as a new Christian, I'm like, sure, I don't want to like, offend God, so I'm sold out. And I didn't wear makeup or jewelry anyway at the time. I still don't. I mean, once in a while you might see me with a necklace on, but that's just for YouTube. But, so I didn't care. I was like, whatever. But that's all they ever taught. That's all they ever, like, shoved down our throats. Jeez. Now that I think about it. No wonder I didn't grow spiritually in that church. So, what else? Oh, back when every time, which do I want to get through first? Oh, well, if you were a married woman, you were not allowed to work outside the home, and they were really strict on that. And for that verse of scripture, they gave Titus 2:5 that says a woman ought to be a keeper at home. And I remember at the time I was working as an assistant cook at a Catholic high school. I loved it. It was great. But as a new Christian, I was like, I remember the pastor, he's like, do you love God? I was like, yes. Then do you know what you have to do? And I'm like, okay. And I remember going up to see my boss that Monday or so, and I was like, I gotta quit. And he's like, why? And I was like, well, because the Bible says that I have to be a keeper at home, and I don't want to die and go to hell, literally, because that was ingrained in my brain. And he's like, okay, he's like, we're gonna miss you. You're such a great worker. I was like, okay. And now I know why they literally ingrained that into the minds of married women, because we were there every time the church doors were open. We weren't at home taking care of our home or our kids. I don't have kids, but you know what I'm saying? Oh, no. I mean, the church, like Monday nights, there was question and answer night. Tuesday was Bible study. Wednesday was ladies' Bible study, and then afterwards was soul winning. Thursday was the midweek service, and I think Friday they had dinner at the serviceman's home, and but that was for like the single soldiers mainly. And then Saturday morning there was prayer meeting, and then there was soul winning for hours, and then Saturday night was a church service. Sunday morning there was 2 church services, then soul winning, and then the evangelical service at night. I mean, how can a woman be a keeper at home if she's constantly there when the church doors are open? I mean, literally, we had to be there. Jeez. I mean, I've seen so many marriages suffer because of that. But, water. Let's see. Oh, this... Back when I was in this organization, being on the internet was frowned upon. They used to call it the Sinnernet. Having a television was frowned upon. It was called the Hellevision. Going to movies was frowned upon. listening to anything other than Southern gospel music was frowned upon. And it was considered worldly and carnal and fleshly and stuff like that, you know. And I don't I don't know about them, but I really enjoyed my praise and worship music. I still do to this day. And I love Southern gospel. I love like the Anchorman and Gold City, the Gaithers. I love that stuff. I truly do. So there's that. But I mean, they really like, don't you listen to that? You know, that's ungodly. Oh my gosh. But now things have changed because the guy who founded the church, he passed away. And I think his son-in-law is now like the leader of the church or whatever. And so things are different. Like, and everyone, all my friends who are still in it, they're on Facebook now. They got a computer. They got a TV at home. They go to movies and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, that's weird. All of a sudden God changed his mind, I guess, right? What was once considered sin is not sin anymore. That's another story. In this church, you would hear it from various pastors, and I've had my share of pastors in this organization. They would make fun of other religious denominations, and they would think it's hilarious. They would incorporate it into their sermon, and then they'd laugh about it. And I'm just like, how is that godly to sit there and make fun of like Presbyterians or Catholics or Episcopalians or the Baptists? It's not funny. They really, I mean, this organization really thought that they were like God's last chance on earth, you know? And I didn't like that because I had friends and family who were of those, religious denominations. And I'm just like, okay. It's like weird. But another thing they were very, 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 not strict, well, I guess you could say strict on, was paying tithe. I don't mind paying tithe because the money that we receive anyway comes straight from God. So I don't mind paying tithe. But they were very like adamant, like if you are a real Christians pay tithe. It didn't matter if you didn't have any money for food for the week or gas in your car, you paid that tithe because God will bless you if you do that. And if you don't, God's going to pour judgment upon your head. And I mean, it was like, oh my gosh. I mean, so there would be like members who would pay their tithe. They wouldn't have anything to eat for the week, barely. Or they wouldn't have any gas in the car for the husband to get to work and back. And I mean, jeez. And they didn't care. They didn't care that, you know. But all that money went higher up. They went higher up into the organization. So what else? What else that was like really... Soul winning. Okay, soul winning, like, I actually enjoyed like going door to door and inviting people out to church because I was comfortable with that. I was, and I didn't mind it. I was like, that's cool. Sometimes though, depending on who you got paired up with, you would go, they would tell you, okay, this group, you're going to go door to door. And this group, you're going to go to like Walmart or Kroger or Albertsons or whatever and go and invite people to church. And I always felt awkward when I had to go do that type of soul winning because I don't want to disturb someone like in the spaghetti aisle and be like, hi, I want to invite you out to this church, you know, and we always had to try and get their name and phone number so we can keep in contact with them throughout the week to try and get them to come. And even if they had a church, we were required to keep contacting them and getting them to come out. And I remember doing that a couple times, and I just was like, I actually stopped at one time. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to keep harassing this poor soul just so you can like get a number in church, you know? So, jeez. Oh, what else? Did I mention this? I don't know. But when us ladies, like if we wanted to go exercise at the gym, we couldn't just wear like gym shorts or like yoga pants or whatever. No, that was frowned upon. That was sinful. we could wear them under our long skirt. And I'm going to tell you that, like, I don't know how many times I almost passed out on, like, the elliptical or the treadmill because I was overheating because of that. It was so stupid. It's ridiculous. I mean, I've since went to gyms in a pair of, like, yoga pants to work out, and nobody stared. Nobody cares at a gym. I was like, if they're going to stare, yes, we got stared at. I got stared at a lot for going to the gym wearing a skirt. I mean, like, oh man. And but I did all of this for God because I wanted to make God happy, and that was my thing. What else? To this day, I don't want to start crying. Because I've been indoctrinated so bad with their belief system, I still struggle in my walk with God of what to believe and what is right and what is wrong, so to speak. Like, a piece of ice fell out of my fridge, out of my ice maker. Like, a couple years ago, when I really was suffering through depression, and my hair was really long. My hair was past my butt at one time, and it hadn't seen scissors since, I think, I don't know, like many years, maybe 10 or more years. And I struggled for weeks and weeks and weeks with, I wanted to get it cut because I thought, if I got it cut, it would help with my depression when I would shower. I wouldn't have to wash so much hair, and I struggled with weeks, and because of like, oh, you're going to go to hell if you cut your hair, if scissors ever touch your hair. But I remember one day I finally went to Great Clips and I was just like, cut it to here, please. She put my hair in a ponytail, snipped it away, and that was it. And I still felt bad afterwards. I felt guilty, and I felt like God was going to condemn me because I did that to help with my depression so I can easily wash it, Oh God, I still struggle to this day, you guys, with all kinds of things. I do. And it's very, very hard. And they really screwed with my brain. They screwed with many, 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 many people. Good people who now, many have turned away from God because of that. They really have. And it's really sad. Let me share a couple stories with you. One of the stories, when we lived in Kansas, I got saved at the church in Kansas that was there. And the pastor and his minister the pastor and his wife that I got saved under, they'd been called to the church in the Philippines. So a new pastor and his wife came. And this pastor, he was a great preacher, but oh gosh, like, I don't even know how to explain him. I don't know how, but at one time I just needed a break. I needed a break. So I didn't answer my phone. I did not answer my door when they would come knocking. And I wanted to be left alone with just me and my Bible, Well, one day I was taking a nap and I heard a light knock on the door, and I thought I was dreaming. So, and all of a sudden I heard a key go in my lock, and my door to my apartment opened, and I flew out of bed. I was like, what the fuck is going on, And in walks the pastor, his wife, Sister Jennifer, and my landlord, Miss Ella. Miss Ella was this older German woman, sweet as can be. God rest her soul. She passed away. But I was like, Ella. I mean, I didn't even say hello to any of them. I was just like, Ella, what did you do? She's like, oh, Dawn, she's like, I told them, I swear, I told them that you were fine, and I had just seen you yesterday. They were just worried, so I let them in. I'm like, no, you don't do that. I was like, God. And so I told the pastor and his wife, and I'm Sister Jennifer, I'm just like, I was like, look, I just want to be left alone. I go, and the pastor was like, well, we were worried because we thought maybe that you had fallen in the bathtub and broke your back and no one was around to come and hear you. And I'm like, I was like, you know how stupid that sounds? I'm married. I'm pretty sure if that happened, my husband would have taken me to the emergency room. I was like, please leave. I was like, jeez. And they handed me a church card, acting like I didn't know when the church services were. I mean, come on, you guys. Jeez. Barging into my apartment. Ay, ay, ay. But they would harass people, literally. They would always come by your house if you weren't at church or if you missed, like, a Bible study or something. They'd be like, Sister Dawn! It's just like, oh gosh, please go away. You know? And then we moved from Kansas to Oklahoma in 2004, I think it was. And the pastor's wife there was so sweet, so sweet. The pastor was kind of condescending and kind of rude, and he was very manipulative too. And he would say something and twist it around and make it sound like you're the bad person. Excuse me. And he passed away of a heart attack though. God rest his soul. But he had a way about him, and I didn't care for him that much. I really didn't. But I was just like, okay, doing this for God. And I remember one time, like I was starting to grow weary. Because I felt like I wasn't getting spiritually fed anymore. Because all I ever heard was like, women are to be keepers at home. You are to dress modestly. You are to submit to your husbands no matter what. And that's another thing. They kind of frowned on like children, like, because children kind of got in the way of doing the Lord's work. Oh gosh. They would, like, the young men, the young soldiers, they would be like, hey, maybe a vasectomy, go get a vasectomy, so you can be about the Father's business. Oh God. I mean, I don't even want to go in that direction. I don't. But, so anyway, let's go back to this. And I remember, because at this time, the internet was still frowned upon. Oh, excuse me, this internet. And I remember I was done. Like, mentally I was done with this organization because I stopped growing and I was questioning everything. And I remember going on the internet and finding this group of other people, ex-members who had been in the organization for 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 years. I mean, who literally sacrificed their entire life for this organization. And only to just be pretty much kicked out for something so ridiculous. And I came across all these people and they all had the same exact story. And I was just like, yeah, I'm seeing, and I introduced myself and I was like, I'm starting to see this stuff for myself. I was like, my eyes are being open. They're like, oh, sister, get out of there while you can, you're still young. And so like a few days later, it was like a church service day, I believe. And I walk in church, I greeted the pastor's wife, and then the pastor was like, he was like, Sister Dawn. I was like, yes. And he's like, I want to see you after church. I was like, okay. So I was like, all right. And after the church service ended, he kind of started walking back and forth, and I'm just like, come on, dude, I want to go home. Say what you got to say so I can go home. And he was like, he goes, so I see you've found that horrible, lying, disgusting website about the church. And I was like, yeah, I guess. I was like, he's like, and what else did he say? God, it's been so long. He was like, those people are disgruntled and evil, and they're just trying to bring God's holy church down. And I'm like, sir, they all have the same story. I was like, they all can't be wrong. So he's like, you need to stop reading that. He's like, if you have questions, you come to me or my wife. And he's like, don't go on there. And I'm like, okay. But then he kept going on and on. I was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And when I walked out those doors, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. So, oh my gosh. Like I said, things have changed now since the founder of the organization passed away a few years ago. Everything is much different now. They even have like youth groups. They frowned upon youth groups when I was in. And they have like youth groups now. And I really don't know. But I still get snippets from time to time. And, but things have changed dramatically. So, but you know what? I don't want to cry. But thanks to this organization, like, and all the indoctrination that has been, like, blasted into my head, I struggle with a lot of stuff spiritually. And like I told you, I struggled with cutting my hair just because, and I wasn't cutting it for vanity purposes. I was cutting it to help my depression, to help me with my depression. And thankfully my hair grows long. It's getting longer. So, but they really screwed with my mind, you guys. And I don't know what's right and what's wrong. And I have to literally get on my knees and I'm like, God, what would you have me to do? And like, and sometimes I'll be reading my scriptures and I come across a lot of those Bible verses that were like pounded into our heads. And it brings back all those memories. God. Jeez. Long story short, please be careful with the churches you go to, okay? Okay? But I wanted to share this, and this was a bit of my experience in a cultish kind of church. All right, I need to go because I'm really hot, and I need to go pick my husband up from work. So I will talk to you all later. Thank you for putting up with this video. I'm sorry that it is 27 minutes, but I had a lot to say. All right? Pray for me because I'm praying for you. Bye, you guys.